Hello and welcome to Tonalist Painting by M. Francis McCarthy. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. And the painting we're going to be talking about today is part of the 25 Days of Tonalism series, and it's by Camille, well, it's by me, but it's painted after Camille Corot, and it's called The Valley, and it probably has a much longer name that's all in French and stuff, but which is called The Valley. Now, were you to go online and try and find this painting, you would find that Camille Corot was a very prolific guy, and which is great. I aspire to be prolific as well. I think it's good to do a lot of work. In fact, it's pretty necessary if you want to even be any good at all. We started the 25 Days of Tonalism last week on Saturday. Today is Saturday here in New Zealand anyway. It's Saturday the 26th of November 2016, and as I discussed last week, I'll be bringing you one of these 25 days each week. So this is our second week, and so we're going to be doing this for 25, maybe 26 weeks. We'll see if I have a secret surprise for you guys at the end. Anyway, those of you that follow my videos and read my blog would be aware that I'm a professional landscape painter. I do it all day, every day, 6 days a week, and I've been putting up my videos for a while now, over a year, and basically just my way of kind of giving back. There was a lot of people who helped me along the way, and I'm interested in helping people out too. And even if you're not an artist, you just enjoy watching somebody paint and battle, great, I'm here for you, and I'm going to give you a little, that's all sort of a preamble to the fact that there will probably be some repetition. I mean, when I did the 100 Days of Tonalism last year, I think I did like 11 Camille Corots, so you're going to get some repetition, but then again, I don't assume that everybody that comes and watches a video of mine has watched. I think there's 160 up there right now or something like that. So, and even where there's repetition, it's sometimes valuable, because what I've noticed is that our consciousness tends to change, and our set of assumptions about life and art tends to change. So sometimes when information has hit you at one point in your life, it may not resonate the way it would if it hits you again later. Not that old Camille is, there's not going to be a lot of new information about him, seeing as he passed away, I think, in 1860 or something like that. And I will be reading a bit from a page, and I'll have some links in the blog post that will be attached to this video, or vice versa. The video will be attached to the blog post, but I do realize a lot of people just follow me on YouTube and may or may not even be checking out the blog. And if you're not checking out the blog, there's a link underneath the video. Just click on it and read. I mean, I keep them to like, I don't know, 500 words. It's not a major deal, but there's a lot of information in the blog that is not on the video. In fact, I really do the main part of my teaching on the blog. The videos, I kind of ramble, As a matter of fact, well, let me give you a little background about old Camille, and then I'll do a little more rambling. We got another 6 minutes or so to go here. Let's see. I went to a site called jean-baptiste-camille-corot.org, and it's the complete works, and it's a pretty old site. You can tell by the way it's laid out. Somebody who's passionate about Camille has put the site together, and you can tell it's not 100% professional site, but it's a great resource, and so I will be putting a link to it. I recommend. I'll just read a little bit of what about this guy wrote. Jean-Baptiste Camille Corot, born July 17th, 1796. Yeah, and he died actually 1875. The guy lived a long life, so that was in February of 1875. And he was a French landscape painter and printmaker in etching. Corot was the leading painter of the Barbizon school of France in the mid-19th century. He's a pivotal figure in landscape painting, and his vast output simultaneously references the neoclassical tradition and anticipates the plein air innovations of Impressionism. And that's this guy's opinion, and it's, sort of valid. I'm going to get into that now. I'm going to leave it there. But the reason Camille Corot is very important to tonalism is that tonalism is directly tied to what is known as the Barbizon school in France. The Barbizon guys were the first guys to start breaking out of this hyper-realistic, detailed sort of mode that was, going back from the old masters up to, the early 1800s was the way everyone worked. A bit more expressive, with the landscape being put at the fore, sometimes very open and expressive brushwork as opposed to highly detailed, highly polished surfaces. Now, Camille Corot is a definite bridge there, and I have had the good fortune of seeing his work in real life at the Louvre in Paris, and it's awesome. Where he's a bridge is that there is an expressive quality to his work. However, he is also quite polished as well. So his work has a very nice surface quality and is a bit more finished than the Impressionism that came after he was on the scene. Actually, Impressionism, 1860, so he was around. He saw 15 years of Impressionism, I guess. And a lot of these Impressionists were totally inspired and influenced by Camille Corot. And Camille Corot, when you're talking about landscape painting, is one of the all-time geniuses, one of the all-time greats. And this is one of the reasons why I've included him here. Now, I am actually, and I just started yesterday, working on what I'm calling 25 more days of tonalism, which is a project that'll be going on over the next year in the studio, and then of course I'll be rolling that out and blogging about that as well. I'm not doing any Camille Corot in there, a couple other Barbizon guys, but pretty much the emphasis on there is going to be strictly on tonalism. But here you also have to remember that I am sort of doing these studies for selfish reasons. For me, it's a bit of an education and a way for me to absorb and integrate into my practice some of the great qualities of the painters that have come before. And Camille Corot is definitely one of those. And one of the things that I love best about his work is the way that he gets atmosphere into his paintings. Especially, he's really the man that solved so many of the problems of getting air into the trees, okay? And when you see his work in real life, you'll see that he did it with very many small, delicate strokes. His work was not painted the way that I'm painting it today. I'm using the side of a brush, and I'm actually taking a bit more of a impressionist approach to interpreting the Camille Corot scene. Where my work is adhering to tonalism is because I'm striking an overall tone through the piece. Also, one of the ways that tonalism distinguishes itself from Impressionism is that tonalism is not done outside in plein air. Usually it's done in the studio. That's not to say you don't do studies outdoors, and I know that Camille Corot did do some painting outdoors, but he predominantly finished his work in the studio, and your painting takes on a very different quality when you work in the studio. And by the way, to some of my detractors that suggest I go outdoors and start painting in plein air, that's not what I want to do. I mean, that's not the look I want. I don't, and I certainly love nature. I'm totally inspired by it and influenced by it, but I'm after the sorts of controlled type of effects that you can only get in the studio. You'd never get them outdoors unless you just worked in this totally non-intuitive and pedantic manner. So, like I said, I've had some, I guess, constructive criticism, but criticism that I'm not really taking on board. And there you go. If you like painting outdoors, go ahead, do it. I highly recommend it for anyone who is inexperienced at painting. I think it's totally valuable as a exercise and as a practice. A lot of it the same way that doing these tonalist studies has been valuable for me as a practice and continues to be. It's important to do things like that and constantly be moving your art forward. That's my philosophy anyway. I can see we're getting close to the end here. Now, we'll be doing another video tomorrow, which is going to be Sunday, which will be focusing on some of my own painting and subject matter. So you can come back around and check that out, and you can definitely come back next week. We'll be doing another, in fact I can probably even tell you who we're doing next week. We're going to be doing a John Francis Murphy next week, and he is awesome too. So if you'd like to see more of my work, go to landscapepainter.co.nz, check it out. You can follow the blog through there, and we'll be in touch, you know. Meanwhile, take good care and stay out of trouble.